Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Golden Bachelorette. Mark Anderson's new relationship saved The Golden Bachelor Season 2. He would have been a disaster as the lead. The Golden Bachelorette's Mark Anderson would have been terrible as the Golden Bachelor, so it's a good thing his new relationship makes him ineligible for the unscripted dating show. 58-year-old Mark is practically Bachelor Nation royalty. He made his television debut during The Bachelor Season 28, when his daughter, Kelsey Anderson, took Joey Graziadei to Louisiana for her hometown date. Mark liked Joey instantly, which was good because Kelsey and Joey are engaged. Fans instantly fell in love with Mark, especially after hearing the retired Army veteran's life story. Fans clamored for Mark to be the Golden Bachelor and were thrilled when he was cast in the Golden Bachelorette Season 1. Mark was expected to swoop in and easily win the heart of 61-year-old Joan Vassos, but that's not what happened. Joan and Mark had no chemistry, and she sent him home before her hometown dates. Mark was devastated by the elimination, but he got over it fast and appears to be in a serious relationship with a new woman. The franchise may have dodged a bullet since Mark is ineligible to lead The Golden Bachelor Season 2. One of the reasons fans liked Mark so much is that he genuinely seems like a nice guy. During The Golden Bachelorette Season 1, he was a favorite of the other men and got along with everyone. In fact, he was much more fun when he was hanging out with the guys, but he got quiet around Joan. Mark seemed to like Joan a lot, so he'd get nervous around her. It probably didn't help that his every move was being captured by cameras all over the Bachelor mansion. His nervousness could mean Mark would be a terrible Bachelor lead. Not everyone's cut out to appear on a reality television show, and that seems to be the case with Mark. He didn't shine during his time on The Golden Bachelorette. It came to a head after Joan gave Mark a highly coveted solo date. They set sail on a luxury yacht for their date, and this was Mark's chance to impress Joan. Sadly, they spent the date in awkward silence, staring out at the sea. The next day, Joan pulled Mark aside, told him there was something missing between them, and eliminated him before that night's rose ceremony. Mark has always been a one-woman kind of man. Long before Kelsey brought Joey home during The Bachelor Season 28, Mark was a lonely widower living a life of relative obscurity. The Army veteran was married to Denise Anderson for 18 years before she passed away in 2018. They had 5 children together, including Kelsey. Mark was deeply in love with his wife, and he spoke of her often during The Golden Bachelorette Season 1. Like Mark, Joan was also a widower. Before joining the cast of The Golden Bachelor Season 1, Joan was married to John Vassos for 32 years, before he passed away in 2021. Joan and John had 5 children together, who are now all adults. Some of Joan's children have kids of their own, so Joan is also a grandmother. Mark's adult children are still on the younger side, so Mark is still waiting to have grandchildren. Though Mark hasn't confirmed his relationship status, Kelsey recently posted a family holiday photo on Instagram that included Barbara. The bottom line is Mark is too much of a nice guy to be a good Bachelor lead. Though all Bachelor leads struggle to send people home, the ultra-sensitive Mark would have a difficult time with the task. When the television actress Barbara Alyn Woods posted a photo of herself and Mark on Instagram around Halloween, fans were happy for the potential couple. Though they didn't confirm their relationship, Barbara was in a Cinderella costume and Mark was dressed as Prince Charming, so people read between the lines. Nice guys are great, but they don't always make for great television. Mark is quiet, low maintenance, and low drama. He's the strong, silent type, which is admirable but not very entertaining. Mark came off as boring on The Golden Bachelorette Season 1, and he'd be just as boring during The Golden Bachelor Season 2. He's not as eccentric as 69-year-old Pascal Igbue, or as emotionally available as 65-year-old Guy Gansert. A great example of a highly communicative lead is the Golden Bachelor Season 1's Jerry Turner. 72-year-old Jerry was a gregarious person who had a lot to say to anyone he ever met. He was a great lead because his communication skills brought out the best in the women he was dating. Mark would have some big shoes to fill, and it's probably best he's already in a relationship. In a season full of twists, heartbreak, and unexpected moments, Mark Anderson's new relationship turned out to be the saving grace for the Golden Bachelor Season 2. Not because of its heartwarming charm, but because it ensured he wouldn't take the lead role on the show. While fans initially speculated that Mark's charming demeanor and emotional openness made him the perfect candidate for a spin-off, it became abundantly clear that his presence as the lead could have spelled disaster for the beloved franchise. Here's why Mark's unexpected romance might have saved The Golden Bachelor from its own undoing. The early days of Mark Anderson's journey. Mark Anderson's journey on The Golden Bachelorette was nothing short of magnetic. From the first night, he was a standout contestant, dazzling Joan Vassos with his quick wit and heartfelt conversations. Bachelor Nation quickly embraced Mark as the relatable, quirky dad with a penchant for romantic grand gestures. As the weeks went on, his budding connection with Joan painted him as a man who wore his heart on his sleeve, a trait that endeared him to audiences. But as Joan's journey grew more complicated, so did Mark's place in it. His constant need for reassurance and a tendency to overanalyze every interaction made him seem less like a steady rock and more like an emotional roller coaster. While this made for captivating TV, it also hinted at deeper insecurities that might not translate well to the pressures of leading an entire season. The frontrunner for Season 2? Briefly. When The Golden Bachelor Season 1 concluded, speculation immediately turned to who might take the reins for the second installment. Mark's name was at the top of nearly every fan's wish list. He had the charisma, the relatability, and the backstory of a widowed father searching for a second chance at love. For producers, he seemed like a safe bet, a man who could replicate the emotional resonance that Jerry Turner brought to the franchise. However, behind the scenes, doubts were already brewing. Insiders revealed that Mark's overthinking tendencies made him difficult to coach during his time on The Golden Bachelorette. He was known for second-guessing producer suggestions and frequently derailing conversations with tangents about his past relationships. While this vulnerability endeared him to viewers in small doses, it raised concerns about his ability to handle the lead role's demands. Enter the new relationship. Just as producers were preparing to approach Mark about becoming the next Golden Bachelor, news broke that he had started dating someone outside of the Bachelor Nation universe. The woman in question, a former One Tree Hill actress turned yoga instructor, had reportedly met Mark at a charity event shortly after filming for The Golden Bachelorette Wrapped. Their whirlwind romance quickly became the talk of tabloids, with fans speculating whether this relationship was the real deal or a convenient way for Mark to dodge the spotlight. For Mark, the timing couldn't have been better. Publicly, he framed the relationship as a serendipitous turn of fate, a sign that his journey on The Golden Bachelorette had opened him up to love in unexpected places. Privately, however, sources close to him suggested that he was relieved to bow out of contention for The Golden Bachelor. Why Mark as the lead would have been a disaster. Mark Anderson's strengths as a contestant, his emotional depth, vulnerability, and endearing awkwardness, would have been his greatest weaknesses as a lead. Unlike contestants, who can afford to wear their emotions on their sleeves, the lead of a Bachelor franchise needs to strike a delicate balance between openness and authority. They must guide the narrative, make tough decisions, and maintain composure under pressure. For Mark, this would have been a monumental challenge. During his time on The Golden Bachelorette, Mark struggled with decision-making, often agonizing over choices that required a clear head and a firm resolve. On one occasion, he spent an entire cocktail party fretting over whether his gift to Joan was meaningful enough, ultimately derailing their one-on-one time. While this made for compelling television in small doses, it's easy to see how a season-long narrative centered around these tendencies could become exhausting for viewers. Moreover, Mark's tendency to seek validation from others would have made him susceptible to the pressures of being the lead. With multiple contestants vying for his attention, he might have struggled to set boundaries and make objective decisions. This dynamic could have led to chaotic episodes and frustrated contestants, ultimately undermining the heartfelt tone that The Golden Bachelor aims to uphold. A blessing in disguise.